Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to Get Hit with the Truth. So today we're continuing my 2021 year-end top 10s as we look at my number two middleweight in the world right now, the undefeated WBO champion Demetrius Andrade. Andrade is coming off of is entered 2021 really needing and wanting a big year, wanting to land that big fight. And it didn't really happen. He would take on his mandatory Liam Williams from the United Kingdom, and it was kind of a lackluster performance. He completely outworked and outboxed him, but there was no pizzazz. He knocked him down early, then just settled for a decision and really got pushed in the second half of the fight, and it was competitive, so people were kind of on him. Then he decided to take on Jason Quigley of Ireland, and, Quigley, not a big name. He went out, and Andrade changed the game and went out there and went right after Quigley and destroyed him in only 2 rounds, stopped him, and retained his middleweight title. So he ended the year on a good note, but against a guy who's not really, a threat on the pro level, hadn't really been in there with anybody good, and he dominated him, non-surprisingly. But now, what is Andrade doing? Well, before the end of the year, the WBO accepted Janibek Amankanuli as the mandatory challenger to Demetrius Andrade. He's number 2 in the WBO. He defeated Rob Brandt and Hassan Nadam last year and is the fastest rising middleweight right now. He's undefeated. He's from Kazakhstan, and I think he poses a serious threat to Demetrius Andrade. But after that, within a few weeks, it wasn't announced, but it was rumored that Andrade is considering moving up to 168 pounds to seek bigger fights. But here's the thing, he wants Canelo. And here's how the rules work for the WBO. If they move up in weight to the next weight class and they are the champion of a weight class, they automatically become the number 1 contender and move ahead of whoever is there. Well, okay, so he would move in line to fight Canelo, but here's the thing, Canelo has no interest in fighting Andrade right now. So Canelo would laugh at it and vacate the belt instead of having to fight Andrade, and Andrade would be in the same position but at a heavier weight class, going against another undefeated fighter in Zach Parker, who's the number 2 contender right now, our number 1 contender right now. So he's kind of got his, it's kind of a tough situation for Andrade to be in. But my opinion is Andrade needs to stay at 160 for the time being, make his mandatory against Amankanuli, and see what happens there. Yes, it's going to be a test, but isn't that what he wants? That's the only way he can get those big fights, is fighting the best fighters possible. And hey, he might be a little vulnerable if he fights him and he loses, or it's a tough fight and he looks vulnerable. But those vulnerable moments is what allows the bigger fighters like Canelo, like Triple G, the bigger names, to say, okay, I'll fight him now. He doesn't seem like that big of a challenge. So we got to wait to see what happens. But I hope Andrade wakes up this year and understands that people aren't ducking him, that you have to earn those big fights. And the way you earn them is by fighting good fighters, and fighting the best available, even if they don't have big names. He needs to learn from, in what my opinion is his predecessor from 154, Erislandy Lara. Lara, and a lot of other guys, are Guillermo Rigondeaux, another southpaw that couldn't get big fights because of his style, and instead of staying busy, they just stood there and complained and whined, and they were inactive. So I think Andrade needs to just take the best opponents that he can take and look for the best situation, and also understand that, again, nobody's ducking him. That's the biggest thing, is he is not being ducked. So we just got to wait to see what happens. But I'm really hoping Andrade fights Amankanuli. I think it's going to be the toughest test of his career, and I'm really looking forward to seeing those 2 guys lock it up if it happens. So we'll see what happens. That's my 2021 year-end top 10s. Oh, Andrade's stat line. He moves up 1 spot from number 3. He's 33 years old now, so he needs to strike while the iron's hot. And he's 31-0 with 19 knockouts. So that's it. All right, guys, that's my 2021 year-end top 10s. My number 2 middleweight in the world right now, the undefeated WBO middleweight champion, Demetrius Andrade. I hope you guys enjoyed it. True Boxing, you've been hit with the truth.